No, I was saying I didn't know she had.
Hey guys, welcome back to our mini series where we are breaking down the Edefi 5-day Devo, the journey to edification. Last time we talked about day 1, which was all about humility. If you have not seen that one, I highly suggest to go and check that out. Today we're jumping right into day 2, which is all about selflessness. I feel like a lot of people are wondering or may wonder what's the difference between humility and selflessness. Well, there is a difference. Humility generally involves having modest or unpretentious view of one's importance. Selflessness refers to prioritizing the needs of others over your own. So they're not the same thing. They are different. In essence, humility relates to one's attitude towards oneself, whereas selflessness pertains to one's actions and behaviors towards others.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and read the focus scripture. It's Philippians 2:4. Don't look out only for your own interest, but take an interest in others too. Shorter than what I was expecting.
So as Christians, what does this mean for us? How do we put this into practice?
Well, I think the order of this, I think, is really important because to be able to put selflessness into practice, like you were saying earlier, you have to remember that it's not the same thing as humility. You first have to come in like a humbled attitude first and work on that quality. If you don't, you'll be doing selfless things, but you could even be doing it like out of pride. At that point, it kind of defeats the purpose because it's not truly selfless.
Yeah.
So you have to get the humility part first in order for it to actually be effective and selfless.
Yeah.
And not just like kind.
Yeah, that was really good. I have another question. So, what would you say are some common stereotypes around selflessness versus what it really is?
I think a lot of times we confuse selflessness with just like acts of kindness or generally having good manners.
Yeah.
Like one of the examples in the devotional, about the whole grocery store thing.
Oh my God, that's my favorite part. I was waiting because I can't wait. That's my favorite.
That's my favorite. Yeah, I feel like that's what kind of makes this my favorite day because it kind of makes it clear. The stereotype of selflessness is just like, oh, let the person go ahead of you. Should I go through the whole?
I want to read it.
Okay,
so I love that.
Let me see if I can find it really quick.
I got it right here.
Okay, you want to read it?
So, for example, you go to a grocery store in a hurry to pick up items that you really need and decide to let the person behind you skip ahead of you in line, which I do all the time, right? I felt very, what's the word I'm looking for? I felt
judged,
convicted in a way because, let me just read it. So you go to a grocery store in a hurry to pick up items that you really need and decide to let the person behind you skip ahead of you in line. While that is kind, it comes with the expectation that you will still be served regardless of your position in line. You don't mind letting someone ahead of you because you know you will still have the opportunity to serve your own needs. Once you give, do you inwardly desire for people to show their thankfulness and prove their appreciation? I sat there when I read that. You know how you read something and you like awkwardly smiling to yourself, and I had to read it again. I feel like we're all guilty of that.
That's etiquette. It's the thing.
That's what I'm saying. It goes exactly what you were saying. Like, how many times have we all let somebody get?
And thought that was your selfless act for the day.
Yeah, go ahead. You can go ahead.
Like, I would put that at the top of the list of like misconceptions or stereotypes of selflessness, because the thing is, etiquette is just having like consideration and respect for other people. So in that scenario, letting someone ahead of you, you're considering the fact that maybe they have less, maybe it's an older woman, so it's out of respect.
Or someone pregnant.
But it's not necessarily selfless. It's still a great thing to do. So I'm not like talking down on it like that's not enough.
Right.
But I think kindness a lot of times is misconstrued as selflessness. You can be kind and still prideful. You can be kind and you still care about other people, but your needs have to be met in it. Selflessness, like you read, doesn't come with the expectation of thanks or just even the satisfaction of getting your own needs met still. The best example is Jesus being crucified on the cross, because as he was doing it, it was a selfless act that's demonstrated by the fact that he was surrounded by people and none of them said thank you. None of them, even the ones that had been with him, left him. There was no one there to give him like the satisfaction of,
thank you for dying up there, sir.
He didn't address that while he was up there, like, by the way, you guys should be thanking me.
So you'll thank me later.
The reason why it's an act, like it's actions that's followed by a humble attitude is that he didn't feel the need to let people know even about it, or like, I'm going to tell somebody about this later. It served everyone except for him, but he still did it. That's selflessness.
The true
So it
act
took
of
himself out of it.
There you go.
It's without regard to yourself.
Well, thank you guys for joining us as we were able to dive into day 2.
And we'll be back.
Selflessness was, I think, one of my favorite days.
Yeah, it really was.
Hopefully you enjoy it as much as we enjoy it. Use the questions to reflect and just kind of dive deeper into your own personal walk with the Lord. Join us next week as we dive right into day 3 on the topic of unity.